deny Bengalis and especially Bangabandhu to run the administration. At this statewide non-cooperation movement started on 1st of March 1971, and on 7th March, Bangabandhu said, and I quote, "Today I appear before you with a heavy heart. You know everything and understand as well. We tried with our lives, but the painful matter is that today in Dhaka, in Chattogram, Khulna, Rajshahi and Rangpur, the streets are dyed red with the blood of our brethren. Today the people of Bengal want freedom. The people of Bengal want to survive. The people of Bengal want to have their rights. What wrong did we do?" He mentioned 4 conditions for joining the National Assembly on 25th March. 1, the immediate lifting of martial law. 2, the immediate withdrawal of all military personnel to their barracks. 3, immediate transfer of power to elected representatives of the people. And 4, a proper inquiry into the loss of life during the conflict. He also gave several directives for civil disobedience movement, including instructing them what to do and what not to do in his absence. Distinguished participants, 15th August 2020 marks the 45th death anniversary of Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I pray for the salvation of the departed soul who lost their lives on that fateful morning, the darkest chapter in our national history. I hope very soon it will be possible to repatriate the absconding killers of Bangabandhu in the Mujib year, and that would be the greatest gift to our nation in celebrating the birth centenary of the father of the nation. Father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman spent the better part of his life, indeed his entire youth, in prison, only to establish democracy, rights of his people, and justice. Despite all the pressures, he never yielded, even at the slightest provocation. He sacrificed his own freedom only to win freedom of others. Let me go back to a little bit. Pakistan was created in 1947, and it has 2 parts, East Pakistan and West Pakistan, the 2 wings separated by around 1,200 miles. We lived with Pakistan, lived together with Pakistan for almost 23 years, from 1947 to 1971. During that period, Bangabandhu was in jail almost for 14 years. Out of 23 years, he was in jail in 14 years. The reason is he demanded rights of the people. He demanded the right for vote and food. He wanted to end exploitation and inequality of economic inequality, to end discrimination, and he wants to establish rights of Bengal people. For these reasons, he was in the jail, suffered most of his life, youth life, in the jail. Anyway, and after he came out of jail, he ran for the election. Bengalis overwhelmingly supported him, as he was the mouthpiece and only hope of the Bengali emancipation. After the war, the liberation war that we ran for 9 months, 10 days, immediately upon the assumption of the stewardship of the country in 1972, Bangabandhu pursued economic diplomacy in order to rebuild a war-torn country, which is said needed food for people and employment for the youth in order to fulfill the aspirations of the nation. During the short time of his tenure for 3.5 years, first what he did a miracle. Within 2 months, he was able to send back all the troops of the friendly countries. That was possible because of his personality. Within 10 months' time, Bangladesh adopted a beautiful constitution. I may remind you that it took 9 years for Pakistan to have its constitution, And it took around 13 years to have the US Constitution. But Bangabandhu did it within 10 months' time. Within his 3.5 years, he rebuilt the economy. The economy which was having negative GDP growth rate during 1970, 1971, and in the 1971-72 fiscal year, it was saving around negative 11.3 GDP growth rate. It turned into, within a short span of time, when he was killed, the GDP growth rate shoot up to 7.5% positive. This was a miracle. He got a membership within this short span of 3.5 years. He got membership to all important international organizations, including the World Bank, the IMF, the Commonwealth, and so on. Within this 3.5 years' time, he got recognition of 126 countries out of 136 members of the UN. And Bangladesh joined the UN also as the 136th member of the UN organization. This all happened within the short span of 3.5 years. He espoused the cardinal principle of Bangladesh foreign policy. And he says, friendship to all, malice to none. He maintained his foreign policy of neutrality and non-alignment and joined the NAM conference, NAM in 1973, and the OIC in 1974. He maintained strong relationship with all his neighbors. He promoted 4 basic principles, and these are nationalism, democracy, socialism, and secularism. He visioned Bangladesh should be Switzerland of the East, where all people of faith and opinions will have a safe haven. Bangladesh should be an island of peace and stability that will help making the whole of this region an abode of peace away from nuclear bombs. He put primary priority on agriculture, education, economic development, and wanted to end corruption. So during his short span of 3.5 years, he gave a vision to the nation. And the vision was, we are till today. His daughter, our Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, is still following that vision. What vision is? Maintaining neutrality and balance in the international relationship. And friendship to all, malice to none. He also wanted to have better relationship with all our neighbors. Bangabandhu, within such a short span of time, signed a number of agreements with our neighbor, the largest neighbor, India. The friendship agreement, the sharing of water, and of course, you see the border demarcation that realized much later. But he did all those. He also maintained this neutrality. So today, as I understand, the topic is his vision of an independent role. What Bangabandhu vision as an independent role, today we are maintaining that same role. We are maintaining equal relationship with all our neighbors by and large. We are maintaining our historical relations. At the same time, his vision for economic diplomacy, we are also following through that. And in the same vein, we are also trying to help the deprived and the discriminated ones. Bangabandhu always stood for the have not and the poor one. Once, if I remember, he was making a speech, and that he said, the world is divided into 2 groups, the exploited and the exploiters. And I am with the exploited. So till today, we also maintain that. Bangabandhu also assured the principles, adopted the principle of UN, and was looking for peace and stability across nations. Bangladesh has been maintaining and supporting peace initiatives of the UN. We are one of the largest peacekeepers in the world. So what Bangabandhu, the vision that he left for us. Basically, we are following, getting guidelines from his vision till today. And we may have to continue this for a country like Bangladesh. We may have to continue his vision of non-partisan, non-alliance, and of course, friendship to all and malice to none. The Army League-led independence, distinguished participants, the Army League, which led the independence struggle of the country, is taking us toward emancipation from poverty, hunger, unemployment under the leadership of Bangabandhu's daughter, Jananetri Sheikh Hasina. In almost all global indicators of development, we are now ahead of Pakistan, which was much better off when we got separated from Pakistan. As for the last report of the UN Human Development Index, Bangladesh spearheads many countries, including Pakistan, in the areas such as education, health, resource distribution, gender equality, public security, poverty alleviation, employment creation, and decrease in social inequality. In 1972, in a war-ravaged country of 7.5 million people, around 76% of people used to live below the poverty level. Now, only around 20% people live below the poverty level. And for the extreme poverty, only around 10% people live below the extreme. This is a miracle for Bangladesh, a country which has very little resources, very little proven mineral resources. It has two major resources. One is manpower and another is water. And these two resources are such that unless they're managed well, they may create problems. Bangladesh, therefore, has to be very careful all the time in managing these two resources, both water and its human resource. We are very lucky that majority of our human resources are young. We have a country of young people, and we'll continue to have these young people next 15 years. Our focus should be on as to how to engage these demographic and achieve the demographic development, how to engage them gainfully and get the demographic development. Father of the nation believed in agriculture revolution and dream of self-sufficiency in grains. His daughter has gifted the nation with a country full of agricultural produce, aqua resources, and industrial balance. Now we export many items, meeting our own internal demands. Bangabandhu worked incessantly to make all sectors of wherever the country into self-sufficient economies areas. His daughter's Vision 2021 and Vision 2041 promises a developed country status. Her Delta Plan of 2100 is a reflection of her father's vision beyond horizon. Distinguished participants, history has always been shaped by the forces of extraordinary leadership. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the father of the nation, had made the history of our country. The achievement of freedom for his people was the father of nation Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur's lifelong work. In his unshakable pursuit of it, he created history just about everybody. Tagore made Bangla known to the world. Bangabandhu made Bengali and Bangladesh known to the rest of the world. Father of nation knew how to fight for right and freedom. He never deviated in the slightest from his principle and ideals which he cherished till his death. Starting from our fight for mother tongue in 1948 to 1968 to 1971, Bangabandhu was the unconditional leader. We are a small country, and he said, and I quote, "We are a small country. We want friendship with all and malice towards none." And since then, friendship to all, malice towards none has been Bangladesh's tagline of foreign policy determination. Bangabandhu, friend of Bengalis, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the founding father, is often called friend of the world for his fight for the rights of deprived people. In We are in the middle of Mujibiyar celebration this year. Under the kind guidance of the Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the people and the government of Bangladesh have been celebrating the birth centenary of the father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, since 17 March 2020, and the celebration will reach the closing by inaugurating the Golden Jubilee celebration of our independence in March 26, 2021. I believe this during these 2 years, this year, while we were observing Mujib Borsho, and following year, when we will be observing our 50th anniversary of our independence, we need to review and reflect on the principles and ideals and values of Bangabandhu. We have to think that what he wanted to achieve. He wanted to achieve Sonar Bangla, a prosperous, non-communal, a stable economy where the difference between rich and poor will be minimum, where everybody will be guaranteed food, shelter, and accommodation, healthcare, and education. These are the goals he set up for us. He has left, but he has left us with a lot of emotions and our vision. And if we can achieve his vision, and another thing, friendship to all, malice to none. And we must inculcate this concept in our mind, not only as a nation, but also an individual. I believe Bangladesh has a role to play in the current world scenario. We find that countries after countries, there have been violence. People are being uprooted from their homes for no fault of their own. It's because there has been a propagation of venom, hatred, and intolerance among people. Bangabandhu created a Bangladesh where he allowed secularism, respect for all, and tolerance for all faiths and opinions. So we must inculcate a mindset of tolerance, a mindset of respect for others, irrespective of ethnicity, religion, color, and background. If we can establish such a mindset across nations, then I have no doubt we can come achieving sustainable peace and stability across nations and can stop uprooting of millions of people from their homes. Your Excellencies, you know that this year, the maximum number of people, around 80 million people, have been uprooted from their homes and became refugees, loitering around the country. Even in our own background, there is 1.1 million Rohingya. We gave shelter to them, they're persecuted. They're persecuted because there has been a campaign of venom, of hatred against these ethnic group that resulted in their exodus from their own ancestral home. So unless we stop this sort of venom of hatred and intolerance, that may aggravate the global peace and stability. And therefore, Bangladesh, a land which always espoused a peaceful world, which always, what should I say, gave the spirit of that humanity is above all. I always often say that even before the Renaissance in Europe in 17th century, even before the discovery of USA in 1492, in Bengal, as early as 1408, you see the Chandidas campaign and promoted the concept that humanity is above all. And Sheikh Hasina, only the other day, by giving shelter to 1.1 million Rohingya, showed the world that humanity is above all. So I believe while we're observing the 45th death anniversary of our Bangabandhu, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, we should espouse with his principles of, cooperation, collaboration, and helping each other. We should be the leader in the world in terms of spreading the words of peace and stability. He wanted Bangladesh to be an island of peace that will give life to the other nations within the region for peace and stability. Maybe it is time for us. It is time for us that Bangladesh and his leadership should give not only Bangladesh, the whole region and the world, the spirit of peace and stability. And if we can achieve that, and I'm sure we can achieve, because we are a nation of victors. And since we are a nation of victors, and we have young people, so many young people, with only thing we need, we want to put spirit in them. If we can ignite spirit in them, I am sure they'll achieve the goals of sustainable peace and stability across nations. So if our best homage to Bangabandhu would be, if we can achieve Sonar Bangla, a prosperous country, at the same time, peace and stability, Bangladesh being the island of peace and stability across the world. If we can do it, that would be our best homage and respect to the departed soul of Bangabandhu. I thank you all. I'm sorry I may have taken a little extra time, but I thank all of you and wish you good luck. On this day, I pray for the departed soul of Bangabandhu and all the 16 members of the family. And we vow to bring the culprits, the criminals that did this malicious job, bring back to Bangladesh to face justice. Thank you all. Joy Bangla.
Thank you very much indeed, Honorable Foreign Minister. I hope, yeah.
Yes.
I'm grateful to you. Your remarks were not only eloquent, they were very comprehensive, educated. All of us, particularly our young audience who should have joined large number. You have felt how Bangabandhu's vision continues to guide us unwaveringly from the very beginning in the conduct of our foreign relations. Thank you very much indeed. Please do stay on if you have the time.
Yes, I shall.
Thank you very much. I will now request go on to the formal part of the program. I'll now request Mr. Abdul Hai Sarkar, Chairman of the ESTD, which stands for the Education, Science, Technology and Cultural Development, the founding trust of the Independent University of Bangladesh, which actually led to this establishment premier institute of private tertiary education in Bangladesh. Mr. Sarkar, the screen is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tariq Karim, for giving me floor. Actually, as per the convention, I have to welcome the Foreign Minister, but Foreign Minister has already spoken. Now very difficult to give my speech reason being because he has covered all the areas anyway. So I like to welcome and to all the participants in this meeting, especially His Excellency, our Honorable Foreign Minister Dr. A.K. Abdul Momen, MP, for making it convenient to attend this meeting organized by Independent University of Bangladesh on Bangabandhu and Bangladesh and his dream and vision. That is the main subject under the opener. In fact, Honorable Foreign Minister has covered almost every area. But to start with, I'd like to mention a little bit about the Bangabandhu, our father of the nation, when he started his hesitation back in soon after Pakistan, creation of Pakistan, because after Pakistan creation, Pakistan mostly, created a disparity, also tried to exploit the people of East Pakistan. And that really prompted our leader, prompted our father of the nation to start the hesitation by devising the 6 points program, followed by that 11 points program. And I'm very fortunate enough that during that time I have been in the university. I was in resident student by Iqbal Hall. Then all students joined together and followed the ideal on how to. And by the time he also got arrested by Agartala conspiracy. That was a very false case. Anyway, we fought for that because I was one of the participants of the 11-point movements at the university. I was in Iqbal Hall, resident student of Iqbal Hall, and we fought and agitated against the within Pakistan government to raise our father of the nation from Agartala conspiracy. And as all of us know that Iqbal Hall named after Sergeant Joe, during that time he was killed in the cantonment. But anyway, I'd like to go for further details in that. But Bangabandhu's ideals, the only ideals was that to bring, how to bring well-being to the people of Bangladesh and create a country poverty-free, hunger-free Bangladesh, which he has been able to do that at the cost of his vegetation, at the cost of his fighting throughout his political career. And most of the time he had been always in prison. He was very uncompromised leader. And he was given a lot of offer from Pakistani junta, Pakistani juntas to give him many facilities, but he never accepted any of the facilities, any of the offer. But he maintained his position very strongly, how to emancipate the people of Bangladesh and being well-being for them. So, and he actually, by his 3.5 years survival after liberation, he created a role model. Bangladesh became a role model. We became one of the famous nation and very fighting nation in the world. And wherever he used to visit those years, during when he was alive, any immigration, any place, show Bangladesh passport. So that we